6:15 pregame with a 6:30 tip-off from the great state of Texas. Lakers, Rockets tonight on 1430. Good to be here. Good to be alongside you all. Glad to be off of that sports weekend, big sports weekend, of course, so we can recap here. We got a good show for you as always. Big thanks to Tony D for tossing it to us in the previous hour. Tony D's show, Sportsline Bulldog Hour with Tony D from 2 to 3 p.m. on the weekdays. You also got my show from 3 to 6 p.m. on the weekdays, and you also got Paul Metter's show, usually on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon, the Central Valley Sports Report, although I think no Central Valley Sports Report this week due to March Madness, so a little bit of a break for Mr. Betters. He'll be back sooner rather than later, though. Should be good. If you miss any of all of our shows, you can go to 1430 ESPNFresno.com website or the ESPN Fresno app. That's where you can get a hold of us, get in on our content that we push out there every single day, and a great place to get locked in on the Central Valley happenings. Of course, we will have the Lee's Air Hotline always open for you. Lee's Air Hotline, 559-320-1430, brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing. Give us a call at the Lee's Air Hotline. Phone lines always open here on this wonderful show. Of course, we also have the Lee's Air weather check, and folks, it's starting to feel a little summery out there, at least for this week. We're at the 85-degree temperatures. St. Patty's Day tomorrow, going to top out at around 90, it looks like. Then we're going to be sitting in the low 90s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, into Saturday and Sunday, which should be a just relatively balmy week of weather here in the Central Valley. So little preview of summer here this week on the St. Patrick's Day week. Of course, first week of March Madness, all of that great stuff here on this show. Could be back in the low 80s by next week, maybe even the 70s by next week as well. All right, we're streaming live as well on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All of the audio there. I'm not sure. Thumbs up. Jorge, we got the video as well. Okay, so we got a camera working so you can see me here on this wonderful Monday. So hopefully we're good to go for that. And we're going to have a really good show today. Really good show today. Can't wait to get to it. Couple of guests on the guest list for today's show. Second hour, we're going to have Gabe Camarillo join me for this show, talking state basketball. He was up there in Sacramento, and so we'll recap that and certainly take a look at how this season finished at a whole in high school's hoops. Of course, Fresno State spring practices get going. We'll talk a little bit about their big-time spring practices getting going here, and, of course, the big-time battles on the roster and who could certainly be players that we're going to be paying attention to and watching. And it's going to – we also have Sean Merriman on in the third hour. That's right, friend of the show, Sean Merriman. He is going to join us as well to talk NFL free agency, all kinds of different conversation. If you do recall, we had him on during Super Bowl Radio Row, and seems like he is enjoying his time on our show. So good to get Sean Merriman back on the airwaves, and we're lucky to have him. So he'll be on 5:15, a Charger legend, on the airwaves today to talk some NFL news and conversation. So good show today. Lots to talk about. Got a lot to recap on the weekend. Of course, we are certainly chasing all of the news that has happened here in the Central Valley, beyond it, and everything in between. But, of course, before I get into anything, I always give the courtesy to check in on our producers who, it's just one today. Jorge is in. Jorge, how was your weekend?
Phil, it was pretty good. Pretty good. Good afternoon, Phil. Yeah, it was nice weather. Not too hot, not too cold. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watched a lot of sports this weekend.
Certainly. What'd you get into?
Some baseball, some, racing.
Racing? F1?
Golf, soccer all day.
You got into golf?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the third round.
Okay.
Of that.
The Players Championship.
What is it called? Teepgrass?
TPC Sawgrass.
Sawgrass, that's what it is.
Yeah, out in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stadium course, as they call it. So you locked in on some baseball, you watched probably Venezuela, Japan, which was a
Yeah.
fascinating, phenomenal game. Probably locked in on the USA yesterday with the Dominican Republic.
I didn't get a chance to yesterday, but on Saturday I did. I did see the Venezuela Japan.
Yeah,
Good game. Good game. But yesterday I kind of missed it. I was out and about. You know,
yeah.
it was Sunday.
Your Sunday is a little more filled with the
Friends and family.
the thing. What do you call it? The errands.
Errands.
Yeah, the errands.
Going to see.
Going to
friends
see
family.
and figure it out. Yeah, it's Sunday. I'll tell you what. So I was coming off watching my parents' dogs. So I was chilling at their house on Saturday for most of the day, and I was locked in on the golf and everything like that. And of course, that's kind of what my Saturday was preoccupied with between that and between the baseball and some of the basketball. I was watching some of the hoops actually going on. Sunday, I locked in on golf pretty much all day. Locked in on the Players Championship. Of course, made an appointment to make sure that I was going to watch USA Dominican Republic at 5 p.m. I was raring to go, ready to make it happen. And so certainly got into that game. Although I realized I probably needed to get some grocery shopping done. So I made a conscious effort. I'm going to miss the first few innings. And, of course, I missed the consequential ones where a lot of the big plays happened in the WBC. So certainly that was unfortunate for me. But, you know, this weekend was nice to be back at my house and chilling and watching some of the sports. Of course, didn't really get out much this weekend because considering that I got some things going on this week. Tomorrow I'm going to be going to a little downtown show for my buddy Asa for St. Patrick's Day. Such a strange time to have St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. I'm sure a lot of people are finding their little Tuesday to do things tomorrow night. Drinking their green beer.
I remember 6 years ago where it was St. Patrick's Day also on a Tuesday.
Right.
But
on a Tuesday.
it turned out to be like the last St. Patrick's Day 'cause we went out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the next week everything shut down.
Right.
So we were like, dang. At least we went out on St. Patrick's Day.
At least you did. And I'm still trying to make plans for tomorrow, at least with that. But there is so much happening this week that I just needed the weekend to kind of reset myself. And so that's what I did. I had to pick up my parents from the airport late, but that was fine. And now we're here. And, of course, locked in on a really fun sports weekend. Outside. So that isn't particularly the greatest thing for the Bulldogs. They get to turn it around tomorrow. They hope to turn it around tomorrow with a game against CSUN, you know. But we'll see what that turns into. We'll get into that maybe tomorrow in previewing that game. But also want to give a shout out here at the top to our state champion basketball programs who got it done over the weekend, and particularly Sierra Pacific out of Hanford getting a victory over St. Joe's to win D2 girls basketball state championship. They have a title. I believe this is their second title ever in program history in basketball, girls basketball. They won in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So awesome moment for those girls to accomplish that. Of course, clearly, as you know, in 2018, the girls currently now we're probably not on that roster. So a new experience for that team in winning a state title. We're working on trying to get them on the show at some point this week before the March Madness rolls and knocks us out after Wednesday. But also, big congratulations to San Joaquin Memorial, who beat Bakersfield Christian, beat them 46-45, I believe. And it was, of course, the play of Sajid Sadu that knocked down some big jumpers late in the stretch of things. They had a nice inbound play where Parker Spees basically caught it at midcourt. They needed to waste 5 seconds. He caught it, and he just threw it up. He just threw the ball as high as he could up in the air to make it a kind of a loose ball. And the basketball landed back in his hands, and before Bakersfield Christian could do anything, time ran out. Before they could foul him or anything like that, time ran out in the winner San Joaquin Memorial D2 Boys Championship. So congratulations to both schools, D2 champions there. Also, special shout out to Clovis High, who could not win on Friday night in their D1 Girls Championship, but it was a tight battle. I do want to say something, though, because I read reporting over the weekend, and this is from Paul Metter's Twitter feed, and this is just absolutely ridiculous to read this. I don't know if you saw this, Jorge, but apparently in the girls' championship, Clovis and Centennial out of Corona played with a boys' basketball for about 2.5 minutes to start that basketball game, as opposed to playing with the girls' basketball before the refs realized their error. And I just have to ask, how is that entirely possible that that happens at a state championship level basketball game? Because let me tell you, that certainly should never happen for that kind of situation. I know they're switching back and forth between games and situations like that, but let's be honest with the folks that have to run that and make sure that's happening. We cannot have that change and dramatically change the way that game played. And maybe if Clovis had a basketball there in the first 2.5 minutes, maybe they're playing a little bit more confidently with the offense. I'm not trying to. I know coaches and players probably don't want any excuses for that. They're gonna talk about maybe their own game, but I'm gonna hear champion and say that. How in the hell does that happen in a state title game? That a boys basketball is played for a girls championship game for 2.5 damn minutes. That's insane to me. So I'm a little frustrated for the Clovis girls out there. I'm sure some people are feeling frustrated as well if that was the case.
Was there anybody that was like looking at the ball like?
I'm sure after a while they looked at it and realized what was going on. Because as people know, or maybe people don't know, maybe there's people listening who are ignorant to the fact that the boys basketball and girls basketball is a little bit different.
Different, yeah. There's size difference.
And any little difference, basketball is about feel. Basketball is about how the touch off your hand, the shot, the weight of it, all that can be affected if your basketball is a little bit of a different size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the diameter is a little bit different.
I wonder if they started by missing their shots.
5-2 after like half the quarter. I saw. So I think it clearly affected the offensive flow of the game.
Oh yeah,
to start.
Definitely.
And so CIF, man, I love working with them. I love all that stuff. I think the Central Section folks are great, but come on, folks. How does that happen at a state title game? And then the other complaint I saw over the state playoffs this weekend was, I think a total of 11,000 people showed up in attendance for all state title games. And I think there's a rubber that has to meet the road in terms of playing those games up at Sacramento. I just don't think that makes sense anymore for state playoff games. And I've seen the discourse on Twitter of maybe they should move it or maybe switch back and forth every year. I argue that what better building than right here in the Central California area, and then talk to the Save Mart Center folks and see if you can host a weekend of state championship basketball there. I know there's some showcase stuff that happens, and they're able to put together some early season tournaments. I know that. So why can't it be possible to see if the CIF should explore that? Or is the allure of an NBA arena something that is so motivating for those state championships that's where they go? But clearly 11,000 people showing up for an entire weekend of 6 games or 10 games, doesn't seem to make sense to me. If that is your goal, I think something clearly needs to be shifted or rearranged in how that'll work. So maybe you want to play in an NBA arena. I would suggest if you want to do the back and forth plan, maybe Golden One Center works, and maybe I would imagine you approach the Clippers and the Intuit Dome situation. I know for sure the Lakers and all that busyness, the craziness that happens at Crypto downtown would be tough, but I got to imagine Intuit would be a pretty interesting venue for a little high school action. It's a little more intimate of a situation. You could have a natural student section area. You know how the Clippers have that standing area where they make only the most devout Clipper fans cheer and go crazy, right? You could put a student section there, and they don't have a seat to sit at, but they're just standing there. That seems like a natural stopping point for the high school championships. You put it in LA, that doesn't seem too bad. I like a rotating calendar if we're going to talk about where that's going to end up. Or state championships, selfishly, we like them here in Fresno, I'd imagine. I think a lot of people would. It's close enough for everybody, as opposed to those San Diego schools or those LA schools that have to get up to Sacramento, and it's just such a long slog to get up there, get ready to play a basketball game. Are you asking yourself if we're getting the right level of play at a game like that at state championships, and seeing if we're going to find the right champions? So just throwing out the idea. And maybe you went to state championships this weekend and you had a heck of a time, but I also know that $100 a ticket isn't really the most ideal way to spend your Saturday if you're going to watch your favorite high school play, because I saw that price point as well. And I know you gotta make up the cost of the Golden One Center in some form or fashion. Maybe there's a good deal in there. Maybe it's a bad deal. Maybe that's got to be reevaluated as well. But seems like $100 a ticket for one state championship game doesn't seem like a feasible option for a lot of folks if you're considering that maybe it's like $15 a head at the most for a local state playoff game here. I only say that I honestly don't know how much tickets are in each individual area or however it all works, but all I know is you only get 11,000 people into the building all weekend and tickets are $100. Think there's a correlation there with that. So sound off, though, if you went to the state championships and want to say what you had in your experience. Of course, 559-320-1430 is the number. We're right here locally, ESPN Fresno, talking sports. All right, March Madness is here. I'm gonna have some fun these next 3 days with this bracket. I want to we're gonna kind of slow roll the predictions out, and we're gonna talk about overall impressions of the bracket and what we can expect this tournament, which you can listen to right here on 1430 ESPN starting Thursday with the first round. So Behind the Bench is just getting started here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. We'll be right back on 1430.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. A new season means big plays, hard hits, and injuries we track every week. But injuries don't just happen on the field. When life knocks you down, you need a strong team behind you. That's Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law right here in Fresno. Davis and Van Wagenen fight for Valley families hurt in accidents, and you don't pay unless they win. It's a winning game plan from Davis and Van Wagenen. Visit DavisVanWagenenLaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
Food lovers, Mediterranean just got better. Aleppo Kebab is now open on Blackstone and Sierra near the DMV in Fresno. One bite and you're hooked. No flight required for a taste of authentic Mediterranean and Middle Eastern flavor made the traditional way. From Aleppo's tender chicken shawarma and perfectly grilled kofta kebabs to fresh falafel, salads, and warm pita breads. All made with locally sourced high-quality ingredients. Dine in or take it out today at Aleppo Kebab. Better, tastier Mediterranean food at a fast food price. Now open on Blackstone and Sierra near the DMV in Fresno.
This tax season, make your refund go further.
Six out of the next 13 the Lakers have against, I would say, star plus opponents. And so what's your standing here? Lakers 42-25. Can the Lakers get to 50? If they get to 50, I think they are. If they get to 52, I think we're talking about a potential 3 seed here. Is it paramount to get the 3 seed if you're the Laker fan? I think for sure. I'd much rather face the Spurs than the Thunder, because at least the Spurs don't have that much runway when it comes to the playoffs and what they've shown over the last few years, right? Because the Spurs have not made it. They don't know the experience. The Lakers certainly have been in plenty of playoff series, regardless of the result you're considering. If you're going to project that far, it seems like the Lakers are going to be stuck playing the Nuggets or the Timberwolves. You kind of hope it's because you really feel like you have Denver's number there. So, the Rockets this year, and they are 0 when it comes to playing the Houston Rockets. They played on Christmas. I believe that's actually the only game they played the Rockets in this year, was that Christmas game. And boy, was it a debacle for Laker fans out there, wasn't it? Yeah. 119-96. Anybody want to revisit Christmas? How about 5 players for the Rockets scoring 20 points plus? That is just an assault from every which way. No, excuse me, I have this wrong. I had the plus-minus situation there. Never mind. 2 players scoring 20-plus points, but 5 players in double digits. Anyways, regardless, you don't let all 5 starters score double digits in a game like that. You're not going to go well. By the way, Rui Hachimura, 0 for 6, 0 for 3 in that game, 28 minutes, 0 points.
28 minutes, 0 points?
28 minutes, 0 points for Rui Hachimura in that game.
That's rough.
Hasn't he gone a different route since that point in the season? Momentum's huge. Momentum's key. We'll see what it looks like. But Lakers got a big one tonight against Houston, and I can't wait for it. It's going to tell me a lot. You lose this one, then there's a lot of consideration what the next one will look like. I think the Lakers absolutely need to win this one because then you can kind of, fade that Wednesday game because right after that they got a game in Miami on Thursday, and I got a feeling like you want to get this one tonight so you can kind of rest the guys tomorrow on Wednesday. You can then attack it out on Thursday against Miami, and God forbid you let Bam Adebayo score 85 points against your poorest defense. No, I only kid. All right. Anyways, let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna put our favorite friend on the phone. Gabe Camarillo is going to join us next from the road. He'll join us next on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Every summer it's the same. Kids home, nonstop laundry, everyone showering, and suddenly our water pressure disappears.
And the hot water roulette. Scalding 1 second, freezing the next. We can't wait all day for a plumber.
That's why I'm calling Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. They give a 2-hour booking window so we can actually plan our day.
And Tom, down the street, Lee's fixed his plumbing the same day. Fast, reliable, professional.
Plus, his Club Advantage membership gets priority service, discounts, no overtime fees, and a 2-year repair warranty.
It's exactly what we need. Less stress, no surprises, no chaos.
Make summer smooth and it can.
Toledo's.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch, save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
30 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, and we're joined by our guest here on the second hour. Gabe Camarillo joins us live on the road from the Lee's Air Hotline here. Gabe, how are we doing? How are you holding up on this Monday afternoon?
Good. It's my day off, so I'm going to. Funny enough, I know I cover sports when I'm on my days on. But I watch sports on my days off. I'm going to go to the Clippers-Spurs game in Inglewood. I've always wanted to see Wembanyama up close in person. 7'4", an alien-type figure. You don't see these guys play basketball that often. They don't come to California more than like once or twice a year, so I wanted to take advantage of it. Basketball team that was facing our Sierra Pacific Golden Bears out of Hanford, and I saw that they beat Oakland Tech just like Sierra Pacific did, but they didn't have to come back from down 14 like Sierra Pacific did. And I know that Sierra Pacific came into this game on, I think, like an 11-game win streak, looking to make it 12 straight to end the season with the state title. So they came in with a lot of momentum, but I thought that what really separated St. Joe's and Sierra Pacific in the Division II girls state title was the Ewan sisters. I think it's super cool that a team out of Hanford has two identical twins and then a little sister that looks pretty similar to them too. So if you're defending all three of them, you're kind of seeing triple at some points, not knowing which sister is making the shots. They're all making shots. That's the problem, right? They're all outstanding. And they all kind of feed off each other. They combined for 39 points, double-digit assists, over 20 rebounds. I just remember the stats like really well because they definitely were a huge reason. A 2-point halftime lead for Sierra Pacific ended up being a 9-point state championship win. And then for the other state final, I think that was the most entertaining game of the entire weekend. Of all 12 state finals, the D2 boys championship when Memorial and Bakersfield Christian in that final minute were just trading possessions. There was a lot of sloppiness going on, missed free throws, throwing the ball away. At the end of it, somehow Memorial emerged as a 1-point winner. But even that last play, and I put it on my social media, you can find it on Twitter, Gabe Camarillo. I just think it's funny because that was a football catch that Parker Speed made to seal the win. And he kind of like boxed out the Bakersfield Christian guy, who I think got his hands on it first. Then Parker Speed kind of took a hold of it, grabbed it away from Bakersfield Christian, and tossed it up in the air. And that was the game. That play stopped Bakersfield Christian from hitting a miracle shot with 4 seconds left.
Yeah, well, what a matchup, right, to see those two teams face each other in a state title game when, of course, in a quarterfinal of a Division I Central Section bracket, they faced each other before, right? Go figure. What does that say about...
That was the game, real quick.
Yeah.
In the quarterfinal, Bakersfield Christian hit a shot.
section played out in D1 now that we look at it retrospect, or do you feel like if those teams got those seedings, we would be sitting here talking about them playing at Golden One Center and that title happens the way it does? Like, I know those teams in the moment probably wish they were a 3 seed, but how do you think that plays out if it was going differently in the Central Section playoffs?
No, yeah, if they were not the 4-5, they would not have been in Division 2. And I think, in retrospect, yeah, they should be happy that they got the 4-5 because it set them up to face each other again for a third time. It gave them high seeds because they were both eliminated early in the section playoffs, whereas, Clovis North and Buchanan, they made it to the semifinals without having to face Bakersfield Christian or Memorial. And, they were put up in Division 1 where the competition was quite a bit tougher, and both lost at home in that first week of the state playoffs. So, yeah, Bakersfield Christian and Memorial, because they were the 4-5, even though they should not have been, a lot of people knew that was probably the second and third best team in our section. And I don't know if Buchanan had a great season. I'm not trying to discredit them, but I still want to see Buchanan versus Memorial to tell you who the best high school basketball team in Fresno is. I wish they maybe can organize a pickup game or something at a nearby park so I can finally get my answer. But I think, yes, because of the seeding in the section playoffs, that's why we got the state championship that we saw. And we should be happy that we saw that state championship because, like I said, it was the best finish of any state championship all weekend.
Yeah, and we can text some people, get that game together, right, Gabe? We can put our powers together and we can get some.
Buchanan versus Memorial, yeah. Who's the best team in Fresno Clovis? Like, we didn't really get that answer because Buchanan won the track and they made it to the section championship. Memorial won a state championship and they beat Clovis West to get to that state championship too.
Right.
We were both at that game, but man, if only they had to be Buchanan to get to the state championship, then I could have got my answer. But maybe next year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an interesting season with high school basketball because St. Joseph of Santa Maria in the boys' side was such a dominant force. It kind of overshadowed a little bit what Memorial accomplished, what Buchanan accomplished, even what Clovis North accomplished with McKay Hamilton. I don't know how much longer St. Joe's will be in our section, but it's a little discouraging to come into every boys basketball season in our Fresno Clovis area saying, yeah, this team's good, that team's good, but St. Joseph. We've said that for the last 6 years, and I don't know when we'll stop saying that because St. Joseph keeps on bringing talent from all over the world.
Well, it's almost like I know this sounds a little apologetic for the team that loses to St. Joseph, right? And this year, last couple of years, it's been Buchanan, but like, is it almost like there's so much pressure to keep the game close in some form or fashion? Because a lot of people complain about how the lack of entertainment comes from that Central Section championship. And it's not like it's their fault, but I got to imagine maybe the screws tighten up even more because it's not just winning that game. It's not just keeping it close, but it's like making sure people aren't, leaving after the third quarter, right? Because I think a lot of people feel that way about how the Central Section championship's gone since James Joe's been in.
Yeah, there's been some entertaining championships, don't get me wrong. I remember when Clovis North beat St. Joe's 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, it was 2 years ago when Connor Amundsen was a senior. I remember when Dan Swalbig and Clovis West beat St. Joe's 4 years ago. And those are the only 2 times that St. Joseph has lost to one of our area teams. Every other time they've blown the Fresno Clovis team out. So, yeah, it's just a matter of where do you put St. Joseph at because they can't be in the southern section. They're 3 hours away from LA as well. But them being 3 hours away from Fresno, I'm sure they don't like having to drive to Salad Arena to play in the section final. So their position is a tough one because they're kind of in no man's land. They're like an orphan school. Like, who wants them? Who will adopt them? It's kind of tough for either the section in the south or the section in our Central Valley to do it. But as long as they're in the Central section, they're the team to beat. And I think it's a different era. Like, everyone growing up wanted to win a Valley championship. They wanted to play at Salad Arena. But this being the 4th straight year that a Valley team has won a state title, I think the perception has shifted to now teams winning a state championship more than winning a Valley championship. I say this because I know in girls basketball, Mission Oak and Redwood petitioned to play up in Division I instead of settling in Division II because they knew if they got to Division I, it would get an automatic berth to the state playoffs. They also knew that Clovis West and Clovis were probably going to be the 2 teams standing at the end of Division I, but they didn't care about winning a Valley championship. They were just concerned about setting themselves up for a state playoff run. And that's just the clearest example of where these teams' priorities are at right now.
Can I get to the Clovis game, the girls' game you saw Friday?
Absolutely. That's a great game. I mean, I was impressed with Clovis sticking with them for almost the entire contest.
So, their season, obviously, they wish they ended with a state title. A little bit of controversy right in that game. I got intel from Paul that it sounded like they played with a boys basketball for the first few minutes of that game. How do you do that? How does that happen at the state championship, Gabe? How does that happen?
It was quite an embarrassing admission for the referee to make, saying, "Oh wait, the wrong basketball's on the court." But Yasmin Aguilera still hit a 3 with that basketball, and she hit 7 threes. The only other person to make 7 3-pointers in a Division I state championship game in California is someone who's really good at making threes. His name was Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, did we lose?
On state
there he is.
Championship record. Do you hear me?
We got you now. You dropped out for a hot second. Okay. We got you now.
Did you hear me? With
Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's last I heard. Klay Thompson's last I heard.
Yeah, so Yaz Aguilera for Clovis hit 7 threes, state championship girls record, tied the state championship boys record with Klay. And she hit one of those threes with a boys basketball. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter the size of the ball. It doesn't matter the size of the hoop or the size of the arena. Clovis came to play, and they totally impressed me and many others because Centennial was predicted by Catholic Sports to win by 14, and that was a 2-point game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, great performance from Clovis. They got to feel proud of how that went down. I wanted to get your vibe lastly on this a little bit, right? Because I read somewhere it was about 11,000 people total showed up that weekend. Am I mischaracterizing the crowd? It didn't seem like a lot of people showed up to this thing. I saw ticket prices were almost going to the triple figures. I get a wonder that this is wearing thin a little bit of the state championship being at Golden One Center. If this is the right move for the entire state of California to have their championships there. Do you feel like it's got to get revamped here a little bit? Because I think a lot of people on the Twitter sphere were not happy with how it all turned out.
So, a couple thoughts on this. Center in 2017, that was the first year that we had an Open Division champion, and Columbus West beat Archbishop Mitty to win the Open Division championship. I just think the history of the game, it belongs in Sacramento. We don't try and mess up the game at Sound Arena. We don't try and move it away to Bakersfield or, to Samurai Center.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Central Section Finals are at Sound Arena for the last 20 years, and they'll be hopefully there for the next 20 years.
Right.
I think it's just a matter of the inconvenience for the SoCal teams, like Sierra Canyon, the Open Division Boys Champs, or Ontario Christian, the Open Division Girls Champs. I think those SoCal teams are the loudest critics because, they have to travel, what would that be, 6-7 hours for some of them to go to these games in Sacramento.
Even a flight.
Maybe have them rotate.
Yeah.
Fly too. They usually fly instead of drive. You're right. But I don't know, do you mess with something that works? 11,000 people is a lot. I know that's more than what we had at the Sound Arena Championships,
right.
And there was quite a bit at the Sound Arena Championships.
But does it work?
All packed, I know.
But does it work? Is it actually working? Because to me, triple figure prices for tickets like that is a lot of money for somebody.
Resale. People who resell high school tickets are broke and want money somehow. They're just trying to squeeze every dollar out of somebody who wants to watch high school basketball at a high level.
Right.
It's not fair to judge a state championship off of a greedy reseller, okay?
Yeah.
And if there's someone listening to resell tickets, don't resell high school basketball tickets. Do the NBA, do professional sports. Don't resell high school basketball. That was ridiculous. I saw that tweet too. Someone charging $180 for Open Division state championship tickets. It's ridiculous. But that's not why there was only 11,000. Like I said, I think part of it is a lot of teams who won were Southern California teams, but they didn't have big student sections, they didn't have big cheering sections because they were 7 hours away from their home. So if they want to, have them rotate it, but don't just permanently move it to SoCal.
Right.
Maybe have it every 3 years, Golden One Center, Galen Center, and then give the Central Valley some love because they got two state champions this year, and they've Save-Mart Center, Would you laugh if I said Sullivan Arena?
That would have been funny. That would have been funny. I don't think it would. I think Save-Mart Center probably would have been. Here's my proposal, right? I like a rotation. I think it keeps it fresh. I think it keeps teams feeling like there's a different variety of what's going out there, right? And maybe even the building that you're going to tonight, the Intuit Dome, it's got a nice little student section kind of area.
A little too big.
Come on.
A little too big.
You don't think Steve Ballmer wants to get back to the kids? You don't think the student section style thing that they're created at Clippers would be perfect for two student sections to stand in where they don't have seats, they just get to stand the entire game? You're not telling me that would work at a high school?
Empty.
You don't
I think the problem with the Golden One Center that I will say, I love the arena's location. I love the Golden One Center, so I'm going to be on the side of keeping at least part of these state championships there. Even it's too big for the event. There's a lot of empty seats at these games, and it does take away from the atmosphere a bit. So I think the Galen Center in LA would be better than the Intuit Dome because the Galen Center is smaller capacity. It's good location. It's near downtown. A lot of hotels nearby.
Right.
The Intuit Dome, I think, would make it feel a little too big. Like, it would feel like it's at the Golden One Center again. And I don't know. Maybe they'll do it still at the Intuit Dome, but I think they might regret it. I think they should rotate it. And same goes for the state football championships. Like, if they're going to complain about always having state basketball finals in Sacramento, well, let me complain about how the state football finals are always in Orange County, Saddleback College, right? Or, somewhere in the Anaheim area, Long Beach area.
I like it fresh. Yeah, I like it fresh. I like it being a fresh situation every year. I know logistically it's a little more complicated, but I think if you get a boots on the ground kind of situation where you create a 7-year rotation calendar, I think there's certainly options there. I've seen it in North Dakota execute, and I get it. North Dakota is a smaller state, a lot of less schools than California is. But if we're gonna do this thing, I feel like trying out different like towns and different regions, get the nice little whatever bump you get with the teams that are coming in, the hotels, all that stuff. You make it a big.
It's all about money, right?
Right.
It's all about money. So if the CIF makes more money being at Golden One than being at Intuit Dome, then they're going to go to Golden One every time.
Right.
So I think we got to keep that in mind too.
I don't know. I just saw the 11, and I know you say it's a little bit bigger of a number than I think 11,000 says, but I just want a little bit more of a Rockets atmosphere. And I'm sure the atmosphere was fine for every game, and a lot of the Central Section folks showed up, certainly, in droves for those games on Saturday and Friday. Real quick, Gabe, before I let you go, I want to talk to you about college football. Fresno State gets going, spring practices, and I know, the big spring game's coming up in about a month and a half, and so there's a lot of conversation, position battle stuff, and early enrollees is maybe one storyline you could be looking at this spring. What's your big storyline for football this spring when it comes to the position battles and what we're going to be looking at?
Does Dan Mantle's shoulder look, after he went through surgery last season, does he look mobile as we saw last in the Potato Bowl? I really think they should have given him more reps last year. And I'm saying that because the two guys he gave reps to are no longer on the team.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Warner, Carson Conklin. You should have known that. Every quarterback in the room with zero experience playing in this Fresno State offense. So every other position looks strong, Phil. The running backs are back. You got Speedy Luke and Donaldson, and they added his transfer, Tariq Thomas, who could be an impact player right away. So you still have a multi-headed monster in the backfield. The O-line with a lot coming back. Braden Walton, the freshman left tackle, played really well last year. He's going to be back, thankfully. I think they did a good job with retention. Like, you always get scared when the transfer portal comes that you're going to lose your best players. Fresno State only lost one major starter. That was Richie Anderson. They kept Josiah Freeman, even though obviously Ole Miss tampered and wanted him.
Yeah.
They kept a lot of talent on the defensive side of the football that was available. Like the fact that they were able to pull out a Titus Kajabi, who got valuable playing time last year because of injuries. Kevion Thunderbird was a major keep. I thought that guy might have been gone, just like he was gone with the win in the 60-yard pick six against Hawaii, right? There's just so much talent coming back on both sides of the football. Obviously, there's some holes on defense, especially up front, that you have to fill, but it doesn't matter if the quarterback's not good, Phil. And we saw last year, they had an amazing roster. They had great coaching, but because of the quarterback situation, they were shut out by San Diego State, and they lost leads against Utah State, and those two offensive conference play kept them out of the championship game. So it's honestly, that's the biggest worry that I have and the biggest question I have going into spring ball. What does Christian Martin look like? He's a transfer out of Maryland, 6'4", looks the part. He didn't play much for Maryland last year. The reason he transferred is because their quarterback was a freshman, Malik Washington. He's entrenched there as a starter, so he wants a fair shot here at Fresno State. And honestly, he doesn't have that much competition at Fresno State. The biggest threat to his job is Jaden Mandel, which was back to my first point. I wish we would have seen him more last year, because the last time we saw him take meaningful snaps was his brief appearance in the Potato Bowl. And Josh Wood got the snaps, and guess what Josh Wood did? He left after the snaps. So this team keeps giving the football to guys who are not long-term solutions. Continue to find, one-year fixes in the transfer portal. Hopefully Martin sticks for more than a year. But the reality is, if he's really good, Fresno State better pony up some money to keep him. That's what they had to do with Josiah Freeman and others to keep this roster mostly intact. And I think it's only going to get worse until there's something done at the government level to fix this problem that college sports has.
Yeah, I see it that way in the quarterback position with the two guys you mentioned. I don't think the freshmen are truly going to factor in this year. If you're talking about the early enrollees as well that are in that quarterback room, I think there's a long way to go for those guys to get used to that level. So it is kind of a two-horse race. But I think Coach Entz, he talked to me about it a couple of weeks ago, and just the leadership aspect, the guys who. Like he needs a guy who's going to kind of lead from that position, and I just don't know if he had a guy last year like that. And I know I'm plainly saying that about two quarterbacks last year who are no longer in the program.
Warner was not a verbal leader. Conklin was a verbal leader, but he was not able to throw the football downfield. So he had a quarterback who was good in terms of production on offense, but not good in terms of leadership on offense. And then you had one that was the exact opposite. And so is Christian Martin capable of both? I hope so, for Fresno State's sake, because
I'd like the few little snippets I've seen of him. I'd like the few little snippets I've seen of Christian Martin so far in his interview stuff. I don't know if you watched some of it.
No, I'll interview him if I can on Friday. We have spring ball day one, but I mean, you're not gonna learn much from the first day of spring ball on Friday. I think we'll learn more by spring preview next month, and I think it's going to be a very heated quarterback battle. I know Martin's coming in thinking he's the savior. Like Mikey Keene thought he was coming into 2023, and Mike E.J. Warner thought he was coming in last year. But knowing Jaden Mandel, that kid, born in the Valley, grew up a Fresno State fan, it's his dream to be Fresno State starting quarterback. He's not going to let Martin win that job so easily. It's going to be a good quarterback battle, I think.
Last question before I let you go. Tomorrow, is that the biggest game of Aaron Judge's career, yes or no?
Oh, my gosh. The biggest game was when he dropped the fly ball in the World Series. I'm being honest. That was the biggest game of his life. I know he said the World Baseball Classic atmosphere is different and somewhat better than the World Series. What is he even talking about? We're talking about March versus October. The World Baseball Classic has had 5 editions. This is the 6th. The Fall Classic has been around since the beginning of the 20th century.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In terms of history, the World Series means a lot more than the World Baseball Classic. But I get what Judge is trying to say. For country, it means a lot more for some people to win for your country than to win for a club or a franchise or organization. But when he's inducted into Cooperstown, Aaron Judge will probably not have the World Baseball Classic on his little mantle. Will he? Will it say on his the plaque that's inducted into Cooperstown, Aaron Judge, World Baseball Classic champion?
Well, the Yankees don't do anything.
Three-time MVP, captain of the Yankees. I don't think that's going to make it on the Cooperstown plaque, is it? World Baseball Classic champion?
Well, the Yankees can't win.
And how sad would that be if that's if that's the only thing that's on his
You'd be
plaque,
him and Don Mattingly.
in
He's
terms
the
of
only captains
championships.
to never win a title. Him and Don Mattingly, they'd be in the same level.
At least Judge won a playoff series. Mattingly didn't even do that.
Right. Oh, man. Should be fun tomorrow, though. I can't wait. All right, Gabe, I know you got to run. You're probably ready to head on into the game and check it out, see the sights, and get ready for the Eiffel Tower tonight. So appreciate you taking the time and take my call, and have fun. Enjoy your day off covering sports.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Gabe Camarillo here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. We'll take a break. We'll wrap up this hour next right here on 1430.
Fresno State Baseball and their hard-hitting Diamond Dogs will be lighting up Pete Biden Field at Bob Bennett Stadium all season long. Right next door will be your Fresno State softball team at Margie Wright Diamond. The Bulldogs want your community support, and we all know Bulldog baseball and softball isn't the same without the Red Wave. Come out and support your Diamond Dogs as baseball and softball compete for another Mountain West championship. And remember, go Dogs.
Struggling to keep up? Low testosterone could be the cause. Game Day Men's Health can help. Every day is game day. No days off. If your energy is low, your focus is slipping, and you're not feeling like yourself, low testosterone could be the reason. Testosterone fuels your strength, drive, and confidence. And when it's optimized, everything changes. Schedule your free testosterone assessment today at Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Fresno or Visalia. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Fresno or Visalia.
Introducing the Sidebar, a brand new open-air beer garden at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill in River Park. Experience a new way to catch a game, hang with friends, and enjoy new appetizers, char-grilled burgers, salads, wings with over 10 house-made sauces, and of course, world-famous Me and Ed's pizza. Thirsty? Try our self-poured taps with over a dozen craft beers, wines, ciders, and craft seltzers. Plus a full bar with an impressive selection of tequilas, whiskeys, and craft cocktails. The Sidebar at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill, now open in River Park.
The one thing I love about spring is it's time for the new golf clubs. They're here. Are you ready to upgrade your golf game? The new clubs have arrived at Roger Dunn, and they're game changers. Check out the new Quantum from Callaway, or the QI4D from TaylorMade, plus the latest release from Ping, Titleist, and Cobra Golf. Come in, get professionally fit, and find out which clubs are built for you and your swing. The good weather's coming, and remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
Citizens Business Bank is a proud sponsor of the Fresno State Bulldogs. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We proudly support California's thriving small to medium-sized businesses. Our relationship-based approach and straightforward business model set us apart in the financial services industry. We are a banking partner that understands your industry and your company. Whether you're expanding operations or planning for the future, Citizens Business Bank is here to help ensure your banking experience is smooth, convenient, and aligned with your success. My team strives to build long-term banking relationships by getting to personally know you and your business, and then providing you with a wide array of powerful solutions customized to your unique financial needs. Visit cbbank.com to learn how Citizens Business Bank can help contribute to your success. That's cbbank.com. Citizens Business Bank, N.A., Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Great food brings people together, and Lynn's Restaurant Group brings a flavor. From office meetings to family celebrations, Lynn's Restaurant Group makes catering easy with full-service on-site cooking, professional buffet setups, or simple pickup options. Choose from 8 standout restaurants: Spicy J's, J-Pot, Oiza, Hino Uishi, Ramen Hayashi, Lynn's Fusion, Ichi Shabu, and JT, all in one place at lynn'srestaurantgroup.com, or place your catering order fast on the Lynn's Restaurant Group app.
Horn Barbecue is now open in Fresno.
14:30 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, wrapping up this hour number 2. Big thanks to Gabe Camarillo for joining us in the last segment. Gabe, of course, you can follow him at KMPH and all that happenings, and hopefully enjoys his Clippers-Spurs game tonight out there in L.A. Lakers coming up tonight at 6:15 out in Houston. They're taking on the Rockets. That's a 6:15 pre with a 6:30 tip-off from Houston, Texas. We also have coming up tomorrow, Sharks and Edmonton Oilers. Sharks-Oilers wrapping up that road trip for the Sharks. Sharks are playing all right hockey right now. They are kind of sustaining their position here. Of course, there's so much more hockey left to go in this season with everything in this chase for a playoff spot. The Sharks now a point behind the Kraken after slipping up against Ottawa yesterday. They did get a win in Montreal on Saturday, so and they did beat Toronto, I believe. They beat Boston. They beat the Bruins on the road. By the way, I looked up a stat. I saw a stat. The Bruins, who played 14 road games, Jorge, since January 1st, 14 home games for the Bruins this season. The Sharks beat them on Thursday night last week. That is the first Bruins home loss in their home schedule since January 1st. The Bruins are 13-1-0 at home, and the Sharks are the team that beat them that one time in Boston. Ain't that something? The one loss for the Bruins since January 1st comes at the hands of the San Jose Sharks.
Good stuff, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Did have a very scary injury for the Sharks in that game against Montreal, I believe it was. I think it's Zach Ostapchich. I got to look up the name. I don't think it was. No, it was Chernyshov. I believe it was Igor Chernyshov, who got crushed on the side and actually had to be helped off the ice. It was a very terrifying situation. He tried to get up. He couldn't get up. He was losing balance. He couldn't balance himself. He was kind of slowly trying to find a way to get up. Severe concussion. We'll see what it looks like. It was scary in the moment. And, it could be some time before Chernyshov comes back for the San Jose Sharks. Just some injury stuff that's popping up. That injury report brought to you by Davison Van Wagenen, personal injury law firm here in the Central Valley. Go check out Davison Van Wagenen today. So the Sharks, if they can get a win at Edmonton or at least a point out of that situation, that feels like a win on the road trip, and then the Sharks are back home for another couple before they're back on the road. So big stretches here for San Jose, big stretches for this team. Macklin, by the way, eclipsing the 90-point threshold as a teenager. Only guys to do that, Sidney Crosby, Wayne Gretzky. Ever heard of him? So just continuing to do what he's doing there as a wonderful player for the San Jose Sharks. Can he lead them? Can he get them into the promised land of a playoff spot?
He's so young, though. Like, man, he's doing all these things like a regular pro, and it's like his second year in the league.
Right. Folks, tickets are hard to get at San Jose.
Yeah.
This team's worth it, man. Or, hey, you're trying to go to a game this year before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I don't know if my schedule's going to allow me, but I'm definitely trying to go.
You're definitely looking at it. I know you're looking at it, so we'll see if we can get you there, because I think it's going to be worth it seeing that. I was actually trying to get my brother and my brother's going up to Seattle with his girlfriend, and I was like, you should go check out a Kraken game. Just go watch hockey. I'm selling people on hockey left and right, aren't I? I'm just trying to sell it. Anyways, yeah. Sharks at Edmonton tomorrow on 790. You can listen to it pregame at 5:30. Tip puck drop at 6 o'clock. Okay, so end of hour 2 here. Hour number 3 still coming up. We got Sean Merriman joining me, former NFLer, in this next hour, talking all the free agency moves. I'm sure he's got a lot of thoughts about this Max Crosby situation and how it's played out. Plus, we'll check in on some other teams and how that'll shape up. So, hour number 2 a wrap. Hour number 3 coming up next on 1430 ESPN.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. A new season means big plays, hard hits, and injuries we track every week. But injuries don't just happen on the field. When life knocks you down, you need a strong team behind you. That's Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law right here in Fresno. Davis and Van Wagenen fight for Valley families hurt in accidents, and you don't pay unless they win. It's a winning game plan from Davis and Van Wagenen. Visit davisvanwagenenlaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
Baseball is in full swing at Fresno City College, and the Rams are ready to add a winning tradition. Since 1948, FCC Baseball has built a championship legacy, earning multiple state titles, dominating conference play, producing more than 150 draft picks, and sending 18 players to the majors. That tradition continues this spring. Catch this season's exciting and winning team as they go after another Central Valley title. Bring your friends and family and experience Rams baseball in action. Visit FCCRams.com for schedule and spring sports information. Fresno City College, go Rams.
Dina's, the dealer in Dinuba that does. Yes, he does.
Tax season is truck season at Ed Dina's. Every GMC Sierra and Chevy Silverado is priced to move. Step up your tax season savings. Our entire truck inventory is on clearance, so get the most out of your tax return. Strong trade-in values and fast, hassle-free financing. Proud to serve the Valley. Don't wait. Check out the inventory now at eddinasautocenter.com. That's eddinasautocenter.com.
Welcome to Banyan Tree, Fresno's favorite dispensary. Voted 2025's Best of Central California's People's Choice Award. Need some healing and relaxation? From flower to edibles, concentrate to vapes, we've got top shelf products at down-to-earth prices. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious, our knowledgeable staff will help you find your perfect match. So climb the Banyan Tree and see how high you can get today. Order ahead at banyantreefresno.com for quick and easy pickup. Banyan Tree, rooted in quality, grown in Fresno.
The weather in Fresno is, well, crazy. 31 degrees one day, 71 the next. We're famous for going from winter to summer in the blink of an eye. And you know what that means? It's time to have your air conditioner serviced. Regular AC maintenance doesn't cost. It's an investment that pays. For 56 years, Donald P. Dick Air Conditioning has provided trusted HVAC service to the Central Valley. Annual checkups keep your system running smoothly and help prevent costly repairs. The specialists at Donald P. Dick can locate problems early, saving you money and stress. Sign up for our Super Saver program. It's just a few bucks a month. You'll get 15% off repairs and 2 professional tune-ups a year to keep your efficiency up and your PG&E bill down. For fast, reliable service and over 5 decades of experience, call Mr. Cool at 559-255-1644. That's Donald P. Dick Air Conditioning at 255-1644.
Food lovers, Mediterranean just got better. Aleppo Kebab is now open on Blackstone and Sierra near the DMV in Fresno. One bite and you're hooked. No flight required for a taste of authentic Mediterranean and Middle Eastern flavor made the traditional way. From Aleppo's tender chicken shawarma and perfectly grilled kofta kebabs to fresh falafel, salads, and warm pita breads. All made with locally sourced high-quality ingredients. Dine in or take it out today at Aleppo Kebab. Better, tastier Mediterranean food at a fast food price. Now open on Blackstone and Sierra near the DMV in Fresno.
The brackets are heating up and it's the perfect time to call time out for lunch. Head to Toledo's Mexican Restaurant for their lunch special, just $16.99, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Your choice of soup or salad, a fountain drink, and your favorite entree like enchiladas, tacos, burritos, or tamales. All served with rice and refried beans. Toledo's with 3 locations serving Fresno and Clovis. Make your lunch break a winner with Toledo's, $16.99, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. Online at Toledo'sMexicanRestaurant.com.
Your home of the San Francisco 49ers, 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader, KFIG Fresno.
I'm Christine Lisi. A pair of NBA teams on a roll meeting tonight in Atlanta. Magic 5th in the East on a 7-game winning streak. Hawks have won 9 in a row. They are 10th in the Eastern Conference. Atlanta at home leading Orlando 42-32 in the second quarter. 10 points for Kristaps Porzingis. Warriors up 46-37 on the Wizards in the second quarter. Suns with a 2018 first quarter lead on the Celtics. Boston currently the 2 seed in the East. Trailblazers leading at the Nets 24-9 in the first. Portland currently holds the final play-in spot in the West, a half game back of 9th place Golden State. No Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers tonight versus the Spurs. The star forward is out with a sprained ankle. The NBA will hold a vote at the Board of Governors meetings next week to explore adding expansion teams exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. Industry execs estimate both markets would be among the league's top 8 revenue generators, but not all owners are all in just yet, explains ESPN's Shams Charania.
My understanding is there is a growing majority of owners that are on board with the expansion because the growth of revenue that's going to take place over the coming couple of decades with these two markets. There are still some owners, though, that are hesitant because the pie goes from 1/30th to 1/32nd. So we'll see exactly how the NBA has these conversations.
Proposals for the teams project to be in the $7 to $10 billion range for each. NHL and ESPN, David Pastrnak, Pavel Zacha each with a goal. Bruins lead the Devils 2-0 first intermission. Boston holds the first wild card spot in the East. Detroit's got the second. Red Wings trail the Flames 1-0 after 1.
Coming up on Tuesday's show, Jay Billis joins us to break down the brackets one more time before the madness and overreaction Monday on a Tuesday, and the World Baseball Classic finale with Team USA. That's Tuesday's Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guest.
The 20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still, the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks, but super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right, Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this wonderful, wonderful Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock hour. I'm sure you're getting out of work, getting ready to head on home for your evening of sports watching, whatever it's going to be. Is it Italy and Venezuela? Maybe it is. Maybe it's Laker basketball tonight if you're locking into. Depends on what your flavor of sports is, but certainly some good sports coming at you here in the next few minutes. So good to be here on this Monday afternoon. Trust me, it's the coolest day of the week, folks. It's going to get hotter from here. Weather check brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing, sitting at 85 degrees, sunny, but going to be hitting those 90s tomorrow and for the next few days. Sean Merriman's going to join us here in the next 15 minutes or so. We connected with him at the Super Bowl Radio Row, and he's gracious enough to join us again today. He'll be talking NFL free agency moves, a lot of conversation around the teams that, of course, we cover, and I'm sure he's got some interesting perspective as a player in that side of things. So I'm curious to see what that'll look like and what he'll have his opinion on there. So lots to discuss. Venezuela, Italy starting in moments, so probably giving some updates there as to who will be moving on. Aaron Nola, I know, is pitching for Team Italy today. I don't know who is pitching for Team Venezuela tonight. I'm going to look at the side of this real quick to see if I have who is going to be pitching for Venezuela tonight. And it looks like a player I don't know. Kider Montero, who is for the Tigers. So, who has a stat line of 2 games pitched in spring training this year. He pitched 20 games last year with a 5-3 record for a .37 ERA. So we'll see how Kider Montero goes for Venezuela tonight. Venezuela's lineup looks like Ronald Acuna Jr., Michael Garcia, Giants soon-to-be superstar Luis Arraez. You got Suarez, Eugenio Suarez batting in the cleanup spot. Ezequiel Tovar, former Grizzly, showing up big in this World Baseball Classic so far from the Rockies side. Gleyber Torres bats 6th. He plays in the second base position. You've got Willie Abreu, my personal favorite dude out there. And then you got the Contreras brothers, William Contreras and You got Jackson Churio rounding out the order. When you have Jackson Churio in the 9th spot, that's a pretty good lineup for Venezuela out there. Italy going to go with certainly some guys that maybe some know and some don't. Sam Antonacci on the beginning of that lineup there. John Birdie in 2nd spot. You got Jacob Marcy, a personal favorite of mine. Vinny Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, as some people call him. That 3-homer day against Mexico that a lot of Mexican fans want to forget. You got Zach DeZenzo. You got Jack Caglione. In the 7th spot, Andrew Fisher. In the 8th spot, you've got J.J. D'Orazio. And in the 9th spot, Dante Nori for the Philadelphia Phillies. Aaron Nola, like I said, pitching there. Quick predictions. Who do you like, Jorge?
So,
wow, I caught you off guard there. Really caught you off guard there. Just real quick, Venezuela or Italy?
Venezuela.
Venezuela? All right. I think Venezuela's going to win it, too. So. All right. By the way, sports landscape world is starting to really shift and change here. We're seeing NBA expansion talks going on here in this morning side of things, on the news side of things, seeing the NBA expansion potentially arise for that league. And, of course, a lot of people hinting at that idea of expansion and why 2 teams showing up now, why the NBA wants to go right back to those markets of Las Vegas and Seattle. It's kind of funny that they want to go back to Seattle. I know Seattle fans have been dying for a new franchise since the Supersonics left way back in 2008. People forget, man, Kevin Durant was a Sonic for 1 year. KD.
Yeah, and the Lakers beat the Supersonics.
Lakers did beat the Supersonics in that era.
Somebody came up with an actual date.
Yeah.
Of that day.
With that day.
Yeah, in 1993.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fascinating to see because what does this invite with the expansion conversation, right? Because are we going to get more games because we're going to have more teams and more players who are going to be making the NBA? Because of this situation, we had like 24 new roster spots right to the NBA. Is the depth of talent there enough for us to feel like the NBA is a viable league that it warrants expansion to that level? I feel like certainly players are better. The top to bottom is a little bit better with it. But then again, you invite the conversation of if there's more teams, there's certainly more opportunity for adding 2 teams to the schedule. And does the schedule need revamping because of how that'll look and what the NBA playoffs are going to look like and the rule changes in that situation? My biggest thing, that this is the most annoying part of this conversation is the conferences and the divisions and what it'll look like and what it should look like. And I'm going to tell you right now, is there not more of a league than this one where the divisions don't matter? Like, I could care less. Jorge, you could quiz me on what the divisions are. I still don't think I could get them because of the lack of impact of what divisions matter in the NBA. This is the most overblown thing when it comes to the NBA and its structure is the division conversation because of how lacking. I still don't even know the rules to who makes the playoffs because they're a division winner and what that looks like. Because at one point there was a division. I remember this where I'm going to the NBA standings now because I can't even remember the name of what the standing looks like or what the division looks like. It's the one with the Heat. The division with the Heat in it. The Southeast had a season, Jorge. It was a very special season. I don't recall exactly how it turned out. But there was one season where all the teams were basically missing the playoffs in some form or fashion or barely going to miss the playoffs. I'm looking at 22-23. The Atlanta Hawks won this division at 41-41. The Heat were right behind them. They got eliminated. Then the Washington Wizards at all below 500. Everybody finished below 500. And somehow it didn't really matter when it came to who made the playoffs because you could win your division and you're not guaranteed a playoff situation with your thing. So for people who are like, oh, my God, the division situation, I have no idea what that's going to look like. Folks, it doesn't matter. Honestly, they should do away with divisions. They should make it 2 conferences, and that's how it's supposed to work. So, I think it's fascinating that they're just kind of jumping the gun to Seattle and Vegas. I don't know if this is totally going to happen right away. Like, I think Adam Silver is pigeonholing into this situation of, yeah, this just seems like the natural course of things, and this is what we're going to do.
Well,
I'm seeing so many issues with the city of Vegas, by the way, with job market situation and that economy, and a lot of people are having issues trying to find work there, and they think they can sustain not one, not two, not three, but now 4 major sports franchises in that town. That place is going to collapse upon itself. I just feel like Las Vegas is going to collapse upon itself with how all of that has turned into with that city. Now, Seattle feels like the most natural stopping point for an NBA team. I'm worried about the viability of Vegas, but they've been trying to make Vegas for 10, 15 years now.
They've been trying to make Vegas happen.
They've been trying to make Vegas happen.
No, and I know that Seattle has been for years now claiming to grab back to a franchise or bring back basketball to their region.
Right.
And it feels like at one point that fandom that was there, it never went away.
Right.
So they still have a fandom. Now, could you find a fans like that in Vegas? Is there a wanting to have something? Because I know the biggest, the women's WNBA team, they got pretty good fans right down there, right?
Of course, the Aces, yeah.
Maybe that's what they're basing themselves on. If the Aces have success there, the next franchise of the NBA could have success also there. But I don't know. It's difficult to say, especially with this economy that's changing rapidly like this,
I worry about the Vegas economy itself. Like, the town itself is, like, collapsing upon itself because it's so overinflated with the prices there. And I'm getting a sense that because of the culture of what are, and I'm going to get a little philosophical here. Philosophical time with Phil Bonatti. Our younger generation culture doesn't really feel the appeal of Vegas as much as some people say. Now, the gambling culture, I'm sure, feels like that way, but people can kind of figure out where to gamble wherever you are. Well, they don't need to go to Vegas.
Yeah, especially sports betting, now it changed.
And there's legitimate proof that this younger generation doesn't go and get drunk and go crazy. They just don't feel the appeal of going out there and getting crazy in a Vegas night like a lot of people do. Right?
Yeah, my generation was out there betting on things.
You go to Vegas, you gamble, you have a good time. You don't talk about it because of the crazy things.
And we would go there to bet on, especially like finals. And
right.
Like, I remember I was there when the NBA finals were going through and the NHL finals were going through.
Because you could only do it there.
And I lost a bunch of money there.
That's fine. But that's the point. You go there, you lose a bunch of money, you gamble, and that's what it is.
Now I could do it from a couch.
But now you can do it from your couch because you got all these prediction markets that are basically turning into whatever they are. What I'm saying is the viability of the idea of and this is why I was so, worried and kind of like flippant about the idea of even the A's happening there. I'm finally waving the white flag that it probably is going to happen. I just don't know how long and sustainable that is. The A's being there. But to sit there and think a viable expansion franchise is going to happen there's always going to be money to be found. People will invest, but I worry it's a lot from the outside as opposed to what's the inside of Vegas. That town is turning into a ghost town.
They have to, at least for the baseball team, they would have to invest quickly on a team that's winning. Because if they start losing, it's not going to work out.
Certainly. I don't know. I'm looking to see what that'll look like. They're probably eyeing for like a 2028 situation. Seattle feels like they're packed up, ready to go. I wonder if Adam Silver is trying to like make both happen at the same time because that's the only way he can make Vegas happen. I don't know.
Is there other option? Is there another option instead of Vegas?
St. Louis, if there's a situation, but that's kind of a smaller market.
The only thing I see up with Vegas is that it's a touristy town. So
right,
people are gonna go there.
And the NBA's wanted to have that area because of the NBA Cup and all that. So, anyways, we'll talk about it next. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna get Sean Merriman on next here on 1430 ESPN.
to perform detailed analysis and streamlining of even the most complex portfolios, to how our advisors work as a multidisciplinary team to refine financial strategies. Visit ThiesenDuker.com to learn more about how Thiessen-Duker might just be the kind of different you need. The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
At Helena Agri Enterprises, we've been committed to helping farmers achieve success since 1957. In the years to come, Helena will continue to be there with the people, products, and knowledge to help increase your productivity for greater returns. The way we see it, your success is the only measure of the work we do together. To find out how Helena can help you achieve or exceed your production goals, contact your local Helena representative or visit us at helenaagri.com.
This tax season, make your refund go further at Fashion Furniture. Get up to $250 instantly toward your furniture purchase. From living rooms to bedrooms, even new outdoor furniture for spring, now is the time to save. Make your tax refund go further with up to $250 in instant savings towards your purchase. Only at Fashion Furniture. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Catch Sportsline, the Bulldog Hour, every weekday from 2 to 3 p.m. on ESPN Fresno. Join Tony D as he breaks down everything Fresno State, from game previews and recaps to exclusive interviews and insider takes you won't hear anywhere else as we get closer to the Pac-12. If you bleed red and blue, this is your hour. Sportsline, the Bulldog Hour with Tony D. Weekdays 2 to 3 on ESPN Fresno. Don't miss it. Powered by Precision Civil Engineering, building the future of our community.
Welcome to A+ Signs.
Thanks. Yeah, I need some custom exterior signs for my business.
Great. What's the name of your business?
C+ Signs.
Wait, you own a sign company?
Yep, C+ Signs.
And you want us, A+ Signs, to make your signs?
Yeah, I need them really fast, and we can't touch our turnaround times.
We are kind of known for that.
For signs that stop traffic, drive traffic, and even direct traffic, call A+ Signs.
Remember, A+ has great technicians to service and repair signs, too.
Yeah, we got a guy, but he's afraid of ladders.
And there it goes again. Yeah, our AC just tapped out.
I'm still traumatized from last summer. We were basically living in a toaster.
Yeah, we had every fan in the house on full blast. Still felt like 85 degrees. And that electric bill, I'm still recovering.
Not doing that again. Maria had her spring tune-up. Lee's Air cleaned her system, checked everything, and now it cools faster and uses less energy.
Yeah, she said it was only $99.
Plus, they gave her a 2-hour booking window. No waiting all day.
We're calling Lee's before summer turns this place into a sauna again.
Prep your home for a hot Central Valley summer with a $99 AC tune-up from Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Call 559-785-1212 or book at leesair.com.
CO number 635355.
AC Heat and Plumbing, you just call Lee's. It's easy as calling Lee's. Lee's AC, Lee's AC, Plumbing and Heat, yeah. Lee's AC.
ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. In this final hour of our show, before we send it off to Laker basketball tonight, Lakers and Rockets from Houston. Pleased to be joined by our next guest here on the Lee's Air Hotline. That is our friend Sean Merriman, who joins us now on the Lee's Air Hotline. Sean, good to have you on. Last time we had you was at Radio Row. It's good to have you here on the hotline, and good to be chatting with you on this Monday. How are we feeling?
Doing great, my man. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Hey, I was seeing your Instagram a little bit earlier. It looks like you're looking good, man, in the gym there. I saw you sparring there, so looking ready to roll on the fighting side of things, man. It looks like you're putting in some work here.
Look, man, the old man got to stay in shape, man. I can't let these young bucks come up and creep on me too much. And it's funny. I talk to a lot of former guys about just picking up some level of combat sports. Obviously, I've been doing it for a long time, but man, you got to stay in shape. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, man, and that's what it's all about. Life after football, of course, and football, man. The calendar never stops, right? That's what they always say. The world never stops with football, and boy, what a crazy couple of weeks we've had in the NFL, and certainly with the teams that we cover. And it's a pleasure to talk to you about this because you have firsthand knowledge of just how the NFL world works inside and outside those rooms. And I want to get to some of these hot topics with you because certainly there's a lot to discuss. And us, Raider Station, we had the Max Crosby situation play out over the weekend. I'm sure you had a lot of thoughts about that. But where do you want to go first on that whole situation with the trade happening and the trade not happening, and how weird of a situation was with that? Because there's a lot of different layers to it. But what's the one that stands out to you the most about that Max Crosby trade situation?
I think you said it. It's weird. It's very weird. We've seen it happen before. It's not, guys have failed physicals, but mostly it's, free agents or maybe a guy that's not a prominent figure, and definitely not somebody that you give up 2 first rounds for and then find out they get in the building that you don't want them. Right? I think that part of it was super weird. Also, too, they've done it in the past, but just not of somebody of Max's caliber. And it's been public knowledge that he had knee surgery. So right. You're getting a guy that's just coming off a knee surgery, and, he's had surgery to one of the best, well-renowned doctors in Elatrage. He's done plenty of surgery, so he had a good surgeon. He missed the last game or two because the Raiders didn't want him to play on that knee, so obviously he wasn't healthy. I was just it's more weird than anything else, but it's going to change the landscape on how other teams deal with them going forward.
Right, and you as a player, you've been through physicals. You know what the physical process works. You've come off injury situations, right? So you know how that whole process is. And so when you say, if you look at the scenario of what he's coming off of with the injury, you find it a little strange that the Ravens did the way they did with how they reacted to the situation. And like, how's that process as a player go for you when you're going to a new team like you did with Buffalo or however it worked for you?
Yeah, the first thing they do, they get you up on the table. They look at all your transcripts, information. Now, if they found something more there than there was originally disclosed, that's one thing. But, it's public knowledge. He just had knee surgery about 9 or 10 weeks ago. So that's, people knew that already. I think the biggest thing for me is that the Max is a great dude. I got a chance to know him over the years.
Yeah.
Last summer, I went out to the pass rush camp that him and Cam Jordan and Von Miller have. And I went out there for a day and coached up some of the younger guys. So he's just a great dude. So you see it, you hate to see it happen with him, but he's taking the right approach. He came back in the building after post-game, changed his profile pic to Ravens Nation or Ravens Flock, and then took it down, and now he's back in the Raiders building. And he handled the whole thing like a true professional.
Yeah, that's what you got to do in this business. But internally, for a guy that goes through that a little, the rejection of it, right? That's what it is, right? The Ravens kind of decided, no, we don't want him for that price point. As a player, if a team rejects you like that, certainly Max has a different kind of ticker to him. He seems to be more fueled by that situation as opposed to, someone's like, man, they didn't want me. I don't know why they didn't want me like that. But how does a player maybe internally think about that situation as it plays out?
Well, the Raiders have made a ton of moves,
right?
Already, right? So, if you look at what they're doing, they're building, they're rebuilding, whether they want to say it publicly or not. They're rebuilding, and they've gotten a bunch of young guys they just signed like pretty much in a week. They've made some tremendous moves, and they're clearing the deck because Fernando's coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so sitting back watching the rest of the division of what they're doing and how they're making stuff happen, they're in a rebuild. So a guy like Max Crosby, who's already kind of put everything he has into it, they're looking at like, what can we get for him to rebuild this young team? So now he goes back in that building. But again, I got this strange feeling that he doesn't line up for him this year.
Right.
I really don't think so. I think he's still going to be on the move. Now it's going to maybe be a first and a second or 2 seconds,
mm-hmm.
But they won't get the 2 firsts for him as the Ravens put in.
Why do you think that? Just is it because of the nature of how everything went down, and it's hard to kind of unring that bell if you're the Raiders? If we explored trading it with you, and it's hard to go down that road. It seems like Max outwardly has wanted to turn the page and say I'm a Raider, but what is indicating to you that this isn't over?
Well, because, they've already saw fielding several calls. And I always thought that he was going to end up with Dallas or San Francisco. But, I think that Dallas is the next move. I can see them making a move right now.
And Dallas certainly makes a lot of sense for him, right? With their need. Funny how that kind of works out, right? They trade the guy they had that now they have a need for it, right? That's somehow how NFL works. But, I'm finding this interesting with now that he goes back to this roster. If Max had his druthers, he wants to be a Raider next year, right?
Yeah, he always wanted to be a Raider. He never wanted to leave that building, but he also understands the business side of it. And as a general manager of a front office, if you can get 2 first-round picks right now and build your team up, knowing that you got a new, young, up-and-coming team, you got to compete in the AFC West. It's a smart move by the Raiders because right now you can get something for them. And not something, you can get a lot for them. Now, if you wait another year or two, you won't get that. So I understand it from both sides, the business side. But if you're Max, how do you comfortably go back in that building, right? I mean, and I try to tell people to put themselves in a regular, kind of a job situation. Somebody got you on a trade block to another company, and they let you go. Then they call you back and say, "Hey, come on back in the building, and let's act like nothing ever happened." Right? It's just, you're still a human at the end of the day, so there got to be some kind of, not really animosity, but it got to be a weird feeling.
Right, and that's got to be the question, right? Is like where's the line between this is a business versus we're dealing with human beings, right? Because I think there's always that kind of conflict between the conversations of what the NFL is, right? Because I hear it all the time. Well, it's a business, right? But it is hard to keep the human emotion out of all these situations.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, look, I remember when I got waived by the Chargers and I went to the Bills, I was circling them on the schedule. I couldn't wait to go out there and get me 2 or 3 sacks, right? I had a great relationship with the ownership, great relationship with the front office and staff and training, everybody. But I had that circled on the calendars. I wanted to make sure I got 2 or 3 sacks that game. Because again, there's a human emotional element to it, regardless of player or not, or business or not. So yeah, man, it's definitely an awkward situation. That's why I keep saying that I don't see him lining up for the Raiders this year. I think they've already made it clear they want to move him. They were already fielding several calls before he got back in the building. And if there's several calls, you got to believe 2 or 3 of those teams are real players.
Right, and they had those picks, and I think about what they could get in that 14 spot if they had the Ravens pick, and maybe they're looking for that mid-first rounder situation still, and what that price tag could be. I'm assuming that's first this year, second next year, like you said, in some situation. You mentioned the 49ers a little bit too, because the 49ers don't feel like they're done with their moves. They had the injury situation on their defense, and if you add Max Crosby, that situation, man, wouldn't that be something? I do think the Raiders are thinking about them playing the Niners next year. I don't know if that's quite where they would want to go, trade them away and have them play right against each other next year. But why would Max Crosby? I mean, I know why, because he's a big player. But what would it look like if he was on the 49ers defense next year?
It'll change everything. So I always thought that's why I thought the Ravens were a good move. Max is the guy that if you're right on the cusp of being a really, really good ball club, then he's the guy to put you over because he can get the ball back to the offense 1 or 2 times a game, him by himself. And when you got a guy like that and you're right on the cusp, you got an offense, you're good at the running back situation, quarterback situation, wide receiver now bringing in Mike Evans. Then you throw a Max Crosby in the mix, that may just be the move that gets you over the hump, especially when you start getting deep in the playoffs. And also, you don't want to send Max Crosby, and I don't think he will want to go to a situation where he's going to be right back in the limelight of a team that is going to be struggling. Right, you want to send him to a team that he's the missing link, and that's why I believe that San Francisco 49ers would be a great landing spot for Max.
Wouldn't that be something with him and Bosa on the other side? And suddenly we're talking about 3 defenses, I would say, in the NFC West, all of them just attacking the quarterback like that. Wouldn't that be something? Those would be bloodbaths, as they already were last year, how they were in the NFC West. That's something to think about. It's exciting, right? These moves that these teams are making, and you mentioned the Mike Evans move, and I want to go there next with the 49ers because some people could see this as certainly an upgrade in what he is as a player. The age concerns some people, but he wanted to play, and he said, I play on a discount. I'm playing for contender. You could see the frustration last year. Was that just it with the Tampa Bay Bucks? And he sees the 49ers as certainly a team that has a couple of players away from being a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, and you got to really it's very similar to the Max situation, right? You've given all you got to an organization, right? Mike Evans done everything he possibly could as a player, multiple 1,000-yard receiving years. And then when you don't see it trending up to the point where you can go win a ring, then you got to start looking other places. And mind you, Mike Evans doesn't have to come in there and be what he's been 5 or 6 years ago with Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. He can come in there and still be a key component without having to be the main guy all the time, like he had to be for several years while he played down there with Tampa. But he's going to get on a roster. Well, he doesn't have to. They got they got Chris McCaffrey back there. They got other targets on the offense side of the football. Kittle will be back after the injury. They got other weapons. So, throwing Mike Evans in the mix instantly make these guys a contender.
Yeah, and this Niner team is this regime has been so together for so long, right? And you're running out of time to kind of get this thing happening, right? Because you've been so close to the top. You think about the lifespan of the NFL, Sean, and you see some of these regimes start to change because of the staleness of not winning a title. Is it right for some people to think, the Niners are running out of these years a little bit because of how long it's been without a title, or is that a wrong way to approach it in the NFL?
No, it always runs out, right? You got that window, and some of the greatest teams I played on, especially down in San Diego, where we should have won at least one or two between the 2005 and 2010 year, because that same core, that same group is together. After that, what happens is, there's movement in the front office. Guys getting contracts, players move. Defensive coordinators get head coaching jobs in other places, right? And so there's so many different moving parts. It's hard to keep that core nucleus together, so you have to win it, which they still can. I think that they still can be in contention to win a championship, but, it's not going to last forever, so they got to make the moves now, and it seems like they are.
Yeah. How many more years do you – I don't know, maybe this is a tough question to ask, but, how many more years is this regime going to be viable for this 49er team before it gets stale? Like you said, we're on year 9 of this thing, and everybody's been expecting a title for so long now for this 49ers regime with Kyle and John.
Well, your defensive coordinator already left. He got a head coaching job. And we don't know who else is going to leave, but I think they still got a couple years left to go out and put themselves in contention. The thing is that Seattle's a great team, but again, we talk about players moving. Kevin Walker, he's gone now to the Chiefs, right? So you're starting to see some of the good teams dismantle just because of the nature of the beast, the nature of the business. And so I truthfully believe they still got a couple of years left to get it done.
I want to get to our last team here, the Rams. We have the Rams here on our station as well, and this is the team I'm so excited about next year, especially what they've done on the defensive end. You've had some great corners play for you. Antonio Cromartie, certainly one to think about when it comes to the relation between what corners can do and what your pass rush can generate. I think that complementary piece on defense. And when you add Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs and add it to what the pass rush can be for the Rams, why do you see this defense being so much more improved in a Super Bowl contending defense next year?
Yeah, because you know what? One thing that's hard to do is get a marquee quarterback, which they got one. They're good at the wide receiver position. They got a running game. They got certain aspects of it. Now you start getting pieces, as I just said, of players who can get you over that hump. And McDuffie he's definitely a guy that for sure can get you the ball back at least one or two times in the quarterback's hands on the game. I mean, he's a game changer.
And for you, when you're a pass rusher and you have corners that can cover like that, they talk about coverage sacks, stuff like that. Is that a fun aspect of the defense? Tell me about that as a defensive player and that relationship between those two position groups, especially with you and that group, and what it can look like on the Rams if it's guys that are working that in sync on defense.
Well, it allowed me to take all the risk under the sun. When you know you got some corners back there who can not only just a cover sack, but guys that know when to sit on certain routes. Smart DBs. Quentin Jammer was another one who was a really, really good cornerback who we knew they had our backs, right? So if I went under and did certain things and get the quarterback run out the pocket, I know they're going to what they call plaster and tighten up and run with those guys across the field. And so, yeah, that allowed me to get an extra cover sack or two.
I pressed it on this, and I talked about it with this team the last couple of days with the Rams. Are they the best team in the league now with what they've added? They added Jalen Watson to their defense. Like, do you think this is the best team in the NFL now with what they've done?
Yeah, but as we all talked about, it's any given Sunday, right? And I thought they were a better team than Seattle, but again, any team can be beat on a Sunday, just depending on who shows up. But on paper, no doubt. I mean, they're stacked across the board.
Shad, tell me one team that you're just excited about with what their moves are in general, maybe outside of who we talked about. Like, who is a team that you're just pumped about with what they've done so far?
I think my former team, Buffalo Bills. I think they were smart by bringing in DJ Moore and Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong; he's a hell of a quarterback. But unless you have targets out there to throw to on a consistent basis, and somebody can go out there and make big plays when you need them to, it just diminishes how great a quarterback can be. And we've seen that time and time again. So I think they've made the right moves. And we talk about this window, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Josh Allen is great, but again, you let go the head coach. You got a new head coach in there, and they got, again, 2 or 3 years, that window, because, mind you, other teams in that division are going to be good. And everybody's going to get better. The Patriots are still, right now, considered probably the best team in that division. But you go out and get targets like a DJ Moore, it can instantly elevate what you're doing on the offense side of the ball.
Of course, here people are so interested in Josh Allen and his career because he's from here in the Central Valley, so there's a lot of contingent of folks just dying to see him get to that big thing. It would be quite a Super Bowl to get to if he's down there in L.A. This next year. And I certainly feel like what you said there qualifies as a potential team to get down there for sure. But, Sean, I appreciate you giving us the insight, the NFL insight, of course, as always. And don't be a stranger, man. It's good to catch up with you.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me on, as always.
Yeah, Sean Merriman, appreciate it as always here on 1430 ESPN Fresno. All right, let's take a break. Let's wrap up the show next. Preview Lakers basketball on 1430 ESPN.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch. Save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Want to work somewhere fun, flexible, and rewarding? Me and Ed's is hiring. We're looking to expand our team with full and part-time positions at over 40 locations. Join our growing company as a delivery driver or valued team member today. For more information on job descriptions or to apply, go online at meandeds.com or visit your nearest location. Me and Ed's is hiring. Fill out an application.
ESPN Fresno is proud to bring back the Student Athlete of the Week. Each week, we'll honor a local high school standout for their performance on the field, in the gym, or on the court. It's our way of celebrating the hard work, dedication, and talent of Valley athletes who give it their all. And it all leads to Student Athlete of the Year. Do you have an athlete you believe is worthy of this award? Enter them in at 1430ESPNFresno.com today. The Student Athlete of the Week, shining a spotlight on the stars of tomorrow.
Struggling to keep up? Low testosterone could be the cause. Game Day Men's Health can help. Every day is game day. No days off. If your energy is low, your focus is slipping, and you're not feeling like yourself, low testosterone could be the reason. Testosterone fuels your strength, drive, and confidence. And when it's optimized, everything changes. Schedule your free testosterone assessment today at Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Fresno or Visalia. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Fresno or Visalia.
Uh-oh, did your office survive the week? Coffee stains throwing a party? Dust bunnies applying for management? Don't worry, Fresno. It's time to rise and shine. Rise and Shine Janitorial Services swoops in after hours and works their magic. Scrubbing, sweeping, sanitizing, and making your workplace look like adults actually work there. Locally owned and proudly serving Fresno. They're dependable, detailed, and way more motivated than your Monday morning staff. So let your business sparkle without lifting a finger. Call Rise and Shine Janitorial Services today and wake up to clean.
Cyber criminals stole $10 trillion from U.S. businesses last year. Did you know that 75% of businesses hit with ransomware do not survive? Is your company protected? Could your company survive a real-time cyber attack? Get a free consultation from N-Cubed Technologies today. Our team of cyber professionals are here to help and protect you from this real threat. Don't fall victim to cybercrime and risk losing your business. Contact N-Cubed Technologies today at ncubedtechnologies.com.
Citizens Business Bank is a proud sponsor of the Fresno State Bulldogs. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We proudly support California's thriving small to medium-sized businesses. Our relationship-based approach and straightforward business model set us apart in the financial services industry. We are a banking partner that understands your industry and your company. Whether you're expanding operations or planning for the future, Citizens Business Bank is here to help ensure your banking experience is smooth, convenient, and aligned with your success. My team strives to build long-term banking relationships by getting to personally know you and your business, and then providing you with a wide array of powerful solutions customized to your unique financial needs. Visit cbbank.com to learn how Citizens Business Bank can help contribute to your success. That's cbbank.com. Citizens Business Bank, N.A., Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
$14:30 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader here on this Monday. Wrapping it up here. Laker basketball coming up next, 6:15 pregame, 6:30 tip-off between the Rockets and the Lakers. I would say this game has a importance level of a 7 or 8 out of 10 for the Lakers tonight. They're playing better basketball, but does it translate against the teams they have not beat yet? And the Rockets is one team that they have not beaten. They got smacked on Christmas, and now they got 2 straight here in Houston. You got to win this one, in my opinion, because you don't want to have to deal with the back-to-back and wanting to win that one on Wednesday and then going to Miami, which is kind of just a pesky, not fun team to play. So Lakers got to maintain the ground. If they get a win tonight, you feel like you can kind of get away with resting some dudes on Wednesday, getting right for a game against Miami on Thursday. So that's how I see this week playing out for the Lakers, but we could certainly see it differently for the next few days. No score in Italy, Venezuela, but Italy's got the bases loaded with 1 out, and it's J.J. D'Orazio, the Italian, who just took a ball and walked with the bases loaded. It's 1-0 Italy over Venezuela in the bottom of the second right now. Zach DeZenzo steps on home plate, and now we have a mound visit. I think they're going to change the pitcher. I think Montero's out. Kidir Montero is out. Do you know who the pitching coach is for the Venezuelan national team?
The pitching coach.
The pitching coach. Do you know who he is?
No.
Do you know? Do you have an idea? He threw a no-hitter in, I think, 2007 or 2008.
No-hitter?
I think so.
For Venezuela.
I think he's a Cy Young Award winner from the 2003 or 2004 era of baseball. And he is a lefty. He played for the Mets when he threw his no-hitter. Famously, I think he threw like 140 pitches for the Mets. He threw it against the Cardinals. Am I ringing a bell?
No.
Famously had a goatee his entire career. I think he used to be drafted by the Giants before they traded him to the Twins in the Joe Nathan trade that sent Joe Nathan to the Twins as well. And the Giants got somebody horrible. I'm trying to remember who I think it was A.J. Pierzynski. I think it was one of the worst trades the Giants have ever made. Johan Santana.
Oh,
Johan Santana. Johan Santana, one of my favorite pitchers back in the day. That dude had filth coming from his left hand.
Johan Santana.
One of my favorite
I remember
pitchers.
that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he looks like he hasn't aged a day. He's got a little more gray to the goatee, but other than that, he looks exactly the same from like 20 years ago. Johan Santana, like one of those guys from those mid-2000 teams that, like, it's hard to believe he's like 22. You know how people in the past look a little older than they should? He's one of those guys.
When did you say it was no hitter?
I think either 2009 or maybe like 2000. No, they were at City Field. I think 2014 or 2015. 2012.
2012. June 1st, 2012.
Yeah, he threw a no-hitter against the Cardinals, I want to believe. It was like...
So I was trying to look him up, and...
Yeah.
Those dates weren't they weren't...
Maybe it was... I think he was still a Twin in 2009, actually. And then he got a really large contract with the Mets. And
yeah, because, he was Twin. That's when he won his Cy Young.
Yeah, he won a Cy Young, I think in 2004, I want to say, or 2005.
2006.
2006. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was incredible. Johan Santana. Reminder, we only have 3 shows this week. By the way, I have it on authority. We have a great guest coming tomorrow. I got it locked in for some guest lists tomorrow. You want to hear some guest lists tomorrow?
Let's do it.
Tomorrow, Sierra Pacific girls basketball team, champions, state champs, coming in the studio.
Nice.
Got coaching some players tomorrow.
All right.
3:30. Going to be joining us.
That's awesome.
So we're going to get, hopefully we get the state trophy in here as well.
Maybe.
I would like that.
Be cool.
And friend of the show, not producing, but just hanging, Tanvir tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Does he want to produce?
No. He told me vehemently he's not interested in producing for you. You are going to have to produce the show, Jorge. From that side of the thing, he is going to sit here and be a guest of honor tomorrow.
We got interns tomorrow.
Yeah, we got interns. No, we don't.
Tuesday.
No, we don't. No interns tomorrow. We get Daniel on Wednesday. Unless you want me to text intern Daniel and see if he can come in.
Nah, that's all right.
Get the whole gang back together.
Gang back together.
I originally had Asa on the slot, but Asa tomorrow, he's got a gig at Goldstein's.
He's got to prepare for that.
Yeah, and plus he got a new job. Got a new job. And I'm not going to share any more details of that because that's a little intimate information, and that's all I got.
I don't want to ask.
I'll tell you off air.
All right.
We are 6 shows away from MLB season starting. I wanted to do a little quick prediction of each division, and I want to start with today. And today is the American League East, real quick. I'm going to give you my American League East division standings.
Okay.
Because this is going to be fascinating. This division might have 4 teams making it out of the playoffs. But we'll see. Because I'm interested to see if the Orioles are better. I'm interested to see if the Blue Jays take a step back. Do the Yankees really feel like they're a little bit better? Are the Red Sox going to feel like a better team? They added more pitching. They're going to rely on their young guys. And are the Rays just going to kind of raise it up? Right? I had the Rays as kind of one of my dark horse World Series teams, but who's going to finish first? Who's going to finish last in this division? Can I make a bold prediction, Jorge? I think the Blue Jays are going to. I think the Blue Jays are going to fall off here. I think it was kind of a magical season. I don't see them sustaining as much good success. They had a lot of really close wins last year for them in Toronto. I think they go from first to last this year, and they miss out on the playoffs. So
first to last, you mean with Tampa Bay there?
I think Tampa Bay is going to be better than people think. I think Junior Caminero is a legit superstar. Legit superstar in baseball.
Because you had the Orioles, which weren't good last year, but they were good the year before
They didn't. They certainly got a lot better with Pete Alonso.
That's true.
Added to this roster. And
yes.
I think that's going to make a difference. I think the Rays are going to finish 4th. I think the Orioles are going to finish 3rd. And I'm going to be biased. I think the Yankees will finish 2nd. And the Red Sox, my Red Sox, will finish 1st.
You think so?
Garrett Crochet is going to be a monster this year. Garrett Crochet. Roman Anthony going to be a monster this year.
Okay.
Marcelo Mayer, monster. I hope. Jaron Duran, can he be back to his 2024 form? Because he was awesome then. So we'll see how it all plays out.
So who makes the playoffs?
Red Sox, Yankees, Orioles. Orioles are going to be like the last seed in.
Really? Okay.
I think 3 teams make it out of that American League East like last year. Because we had Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees make it. So tomorrow I'll do the American League Central, and then Wednesday we'll do the American League West. And then on Monday next week we'll do NL East, we'll do NL Central on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, right before the Giants game against the Yankees, we'll do the NL West preview.
Cool.
That feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Baseball, man. Happening.
Isn't it crazy?
Already.
Baseball's back. And we'll make our World Series predictions next Wednesday. Get that ready. Get that ready, Jorge.
All right.
I don't even remember. It's so long. That season's so long. I don't even remember what I made last year at the beginning of the season.
I always feel real good about making my predictions, and then when I look back at them, why did I think of that? Like I'm like, what sense does that make in any world that they would be in the World Series or something like that? Right?
I got to make some bold predictions too. We have to make some bold predictions. Maybe that'll be Wednesday's 5-5. We didn't have a time for the 5-5 today because of our interview with Sean Merriman, but I wanted to get to that at some point on Wednesday as well. So, anyways, just a couple of notes here as well. A reminder: we have our show tomorrow. We're wrapping up our show today. We have it tomorrow. We have Wednesday. Wednesday, we don't have FPU Sunbird Sports Show, correct?
Yeah, we don't.
No FPU Sunbird Sports Show. It's spring break or just reasons.
It is.
Yeah, spring break for FPU. And that means with March Madness, I think this is the traditional, and I said at the top of the show, Paul Metters doesn't have his show on Saturday because of the March Madness. It's his traditional, taking that day off.
Yes.
And we're kind of in between high school schedules anyway, because we're kind of done with the winter sports and we're kind of starting the spring sports. And by the way, I'll announce this on air. We have our first high school baseball broadcast next Tuesday. Teams TBD.
Right.
Teams TBD. But we're going to have a mixture of some really good guests in on it. Paul Metters is going to be joining me with some games. We'll have Mike Brink on a game or two. Also, we're locking in Jim Sandrini in as well. Jim, a great Bullard baseball advocate.
The play-by-play.
Yeah, joining me. I'm going to be the constant. With all the games. With baseball. And, that'll be coming up starting next Tuesday. We're going to be having that. So that should be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to get ready to go on the baseball circuit. Of course, we broadcast all the way to the Central Section Championships, which are always in Visalia, California. At the, what do they call that place? Growers? What's the field? Is it Growers Field? I'm thinking of a different
It's got
field.
a longer name.
Valley Strong.
Valley Strong.
Valley Strong Ballpark. There it is.
Yeah.
Valley Strong.
Yeah, that's like the Valley Growers Field.
I think I'm thinking Growers Field. I think that's something else.
Okay.
I think that's something else. That's not Valley Growers. Right? I think of the Fresno Growers as the alter ego for the Fresno Grizzlies, which, by the way, Grizzly season starts next month too.
Yeah.
Guys, baseball's here, folks.
It's that time of the year.
It's happening. By the way, Italy up 2-0 in the third.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
But Venezuela has come back before. They came back on Japan. They were down 5-2. I thought they were dead. I actually made a Kalshi prediction on them, and then I ended up getting some nice money. Get some nice money on them on Venezuela coming back to Japan. So that was a nice little chunk of change I got. Helped really cut into the car registration I paid for this weekend.
Well,
thanks, California. All right, folks. We're going to have a good show tomorrow. Great show today. Once again, appreciative Gabe Camarillo for joining us earlier. Sean Merriman, NFLer, NFL Pro Bowler, coming on the show again. That was awesome. We're going to have a great guest list tomorrow. Can't wait for it. We're going to go 3 to 6 tomorrow. Probably be watching the first 4 throughout that show tomorrow, too. So we'll be keeping tabs on think it's UMBC and who else? UMBC and Howard tomorrow at 3:40.
So how about my Kings winning this weekend now?
Just enough time to not talk about it. All right, all right. We'll see you at 3 o'clock.
The one thing I love about spring is it's time for the new golf clubs.
Whoa!